So President Biden is touting his middle-out, bottom-up so-called economic policy this week. But whether we actually know what that means or not, we have to work on it. 76% of Americans say the economy is only fair or poor. And that's because both hourly and weekly wages are down big time since the big guy took office in real terms when you factor inflation in. Joining us now is John Carney, Breitbart economics and finance editor and co-author of Breitbart Business Digest. Great to see you here in studio. It's like he's selling the sizzle, not the steak, because he's trying to turn some fake hamburger meat into a T-bone steak. I don't think Americans will buy it, do you?
No, they're not going to. One of the things you can't fool people about is inflation's effect on their home finances. Everybody can see that even if their paycheck has gone up, their bills are going up even faster. And that's what we mean when we say that real wages are falling. They have fallen by a lot. Lately, because inflation has come down, they're not falling as fast as they used to be. But if you track it all the way back to the beginning of the Biden administration, people have seen themselves become poorer and poorer every month for, it was something like 21 months in a row, a record number of months of decline of real wages.
Is that why debt is going up so much, particularly credit card debt?
Of course, people have to borrow in order to keep up. And it is unfortunate because at the same time, to fight that inflation, the Fed is raising interest rates. So not only are people borrowing more, they're having to pay more on the debt that they borrow, which just increases the cost even more.
Now, there were a couple of good numbers this week. The GDP was much bigger than expected. I think they expected 1.4%. It was up 2%.
2%.
Which is pretty dramatic increase. Is it conceivable that we could escape a recession and will grow just enough so the president has some kind of bragging rights?
I don't think we can escape a recession. I think we will not have a recession this year. I think a lot of the people who thought we were going to have a recession are now having to revise that view. But look, the Fed has made it really clear that they are going to defeat inflation even at the cost of having a recession. So I think actually Biden may be out of luck because we may get a recession in an election year, next year, 2024. That's still very likely to me. So I don't think the recession has been avoided. I think it's just been pushed off.
You know, one of the parts of Bidenomics, so-called, that really worries me is this industrial policy, that somehow the government is the best investor in the world, much better than the private sector. The government knows what it's doing. Here's the president talking about it. Roll tape.
We're all now investing in key industries of the future, making targeted investments to promote domestic production of semiconductors, batteries, electric cars, clean energy. Under the trickle-down economic theory was that public investment would discourage private investment. Give me a break.
You know, how many Cylindras, we had the breakdown of Lordstown's, an EV truck manufacturer that was touted both, by the way, by Trump and by Biden. But how many of these industrial policy disasters do we have to have before we realize that politicians investing our money is a terrible idea? It's not a great idea.
It's also ironic that he refers to actually people making their own decisions about where to invest as trickle-down economics. What do you think the real trickle-down economics? It's the government deciding from the very top where investment should go. I just want to point out, in that clip that you played, they couldn't even get the lighting right.
That's right.
If he can't keep the lights on the U.S. president, I think maybe we don't want to trust them to make all the investments.
Well, first of all, most politicians are not business people. They've never had to sign a paycheck in their life other than on the bottom, not on the top. And secondly, it's not their money. When you're not invested, when it's not your skin in the game, you're much more casual, cavalier about how you spend it. Quickly.
The government also can't help itself but attach all sorts of nonsensical left-wing program strings to every dollar it puts out. And so what you're going to find is this isn't just going to be, government aid to industry. It's going to be government aid with woke capitalism rules attached to it.
By the way, the dear sweet Akila is over there giving me the spin sign, so we got to go. Now I know what Larry was talking about. You're tough at this. All right. Well, thank you very much.